There you are, Thomas. For a minute, I didn't think you were popping in there. I'm never quite sure what day these races are on. I'm hoping it's on the 15th. Is that right? Or
Yeah, it's Saturday instead of Sunday.
all right, good. Fingers, every now and then, is that like tonight and tomorrow or tomorrow into Sunday? I
Well,
never
for
know.
us, yeah, for us, yes. I mean, because they start about 1 o'clock in Hong Kong, and time difference is 13 hours, I think, 12 hours.
So it's tomorrow night into Sunday then.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. Sometimes,
right, and yeah, right.
sometimes I'm confused. That's concussion and confused, otherwise known as CTE. Well, last week we had a pretty good, solid week at the track we had never done, Chelmsford City. So I was pretty happy about that. Hopefully, we have a pretty solid week at Sha Tin. We usually find some interesting kernels there as well. We always find some good stuff too over at Horse Racing Guaranteed Tip Sheet, where we got some free picks every weekend, every day. There's a link in the description wherever you're following us. I think tonight, Friday night, is Charlestown. So come back on every day, whether you're joining us on Friday, if you're joining us on Saturday, or early Sunday morning, wherever you are in the world. Make sure you take a look at that link in the description. When the show is over, sometime between now and race time, over here, I will put all of Thomas's comments, all of my comments. We'll have a headline there that says Sha Tin. You see yesterday from Terry and I. We'll put a race replay there in the description on YouTube. We'll timestamp every race so you can watch them individually. We're doing races 6 through 10. That means we're going to start with HYDRANGEA handicap on
Hydrangea, I think.
Hydrangea? I don't know.
Hydrangea, it's a flower.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But and I was really fighting with that pronunciation in my head because I know the name of it. Because I think my mother had like thousands of them. I don't know. We had more plants than a jungle.
I'm happy this week because the names I can basically pronounce of all the horses, which is very unusual.
In Hong Kong, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. Well, this one, Tom, is on the turf course. Right now, it's listed as good. It's 1,400 meters. So let's take a look at what 1,400 meters looks like on the turf course. You're going to start right here, the very end of before the first turn there, come around. It's a one-turn, 1,400 meter race right there to the finish line. One turn here in the States is usually speed. One turn at Sha Tin, I've noticed, is usually closers.
Yeah. Usually not speed. There are exceptions, but.
Well, speaking of the speed, here's the way the Hong Kong Jockeys Club puts it out. And we see Fun Together. Should be out there by itself on the front, although plenty of pressure from horses right in that shotgun position. Just a couple in the back that want to close. Should be really kind of pressing the pace, it looks like here, Tom. So maybe somebody with a little late speed is the horse to beat. Who do you assign that value to?
I'm going to start with number 9, Monarch County. He appears to be getting better with the last 2 races. He finished third last time out with a late move. The race before he finished 5th, but he got himself in some trouble. So that didn't help matters. The other 2 races of his career, not great. I think he's coming to form. He does have an outside draw, so that's always a concern. But Hugh Bowman is up, and he knows how to ride horses. So all he's got to do is put it in position. I mean, this is not a massively high-end race here. 7, Wind Speed. Next choice. Last out, he had a real wide draw. He went forward, but wide. Just didn't have anything left at the end. Draws better today. 3. Just stay out of trouble and get a rail trip, I think, is really a key here. Number 3, Good Luck Base will be my final choice. Last time out, he had an inside draw. He sat behind the leaders and closed for second. I think he's going to run the similar time of trip. And he's got the inside draw again. So let's see what he can do.
I'm going to start with the number 10, Interesting. I have no idea what the odds are on any of these horses, which is kind of fun, right? We find out race day what the odds are. So we might have the favorites. We might have the longest shot on the board. I think and this goes out to DRF and maybe Brisnet and everybody else that puts together the past performances. I think handicappers would be well served if they took the morning lines off the horses, and you weren't influenced by all that. What I was influenced by with View All Things is in its last race, if you read the comments, it was bumped and then blocked at the end, or might have won last time out at this level. No bumping, no blocking, and then it goes to the winner's enclosure.
And the draw is.
The draw is no good. 4 is not bad.
No, the draw is good. 4 is good.
Mm-hmm. Number 2. That's next for me. Good draw there, too, on the inside. XL Wong Choi. If it repeats its last race, as they say, it's chicken dinner. Winner, winner. It's something we agree on the next race here. Next 2 horses, Tom. I have Good Luck Babe in there as well. I didn't intentionally pick all the horses on the inside. Sometimes it just works out that way. This one ran at this level last time out, just missed. And I noticed in my race notes on the Monday through Thursday shows with Terry, a lot of just missed horses don't miss the next time around. And then Monarch Country, I wanted to rate him a little bit higher, Tom, but I think all of his runs are going to come at the end for the 9 horse. So sometimes when you come from too far off the pace, you got too many things that can go wrong along the way or get in your way. So I have it in there as a in the money type horse. And I think just about every show where I said, hey, this is a Tom horse. Is it going to win? Nah. Finish in the money? Yeah. It either wins or it doesn't finish in the money. So either put it on the top or forget about it altogether. Race number 7, the KOWLOON Tong Club Trophy. Do you have one of those on your mantle, Thomas?
Oh, many, many, many.
I wonder what it even looks like. All right, anyway, this one's going to go 1,600 meters. So they're going to start back here in this chute, come all the way down around that track, make their turn on the way home. You know, at 1,600 meters, you got a whole lot of room back in here to get into good position. So I don't know how I guess it would have to mitigate some of that inside post position draw, Tom. Would you agree?
Depends on what you have under you. And that always is the case. But I think that those middle horses probably will middle forward are going to be more likely. And we'll see.
But yeah, the one Voyage Samurai up on the front, the strong leader should be able to cross the small field and get to the front and lead this race according to the analysis there at the Hong Kong Jockey Club. And, from there, it's the Noah, right? 2x2 all the way to the back. So I agree with you, Tom. When I see a race shape where you got a lone front runner and then everybody else giving chase, I like my horses to be middle forward as well in those scenarios. So who do you think when this race is over will cross the line first?
I'm going to start with number 2, Sunlight Power. Ran 3rd last time out, and he sat in a mid-pack position. He showed some interest, but he wasn't going to catch the top 2 horses in that race. He's won a start before that by sitting closer to the pace than he did in the previous race. So last race, mid-pack, he sat closer to that race before and won. He won at this distance, and that was his first win at this distance. So he's got the right draw if they're going to ride the rail with him, and could get the shortest trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping he will. I'm going to take 7 as my next choice. Wood Fire Bro. Showed some pace last time. Got bumped. Finished 6th. The trainer is making an equipment change. He's going to put a tongue tie back on. It was on like 3 starts ago, and they took it off. They're also adding visor. They must have seen something because it'll be interesting. And this is one I would watch the odds on because his odds have been pretty high until the last race, and then they were single digit rather than double digit. So,
something was going on the backside.
Yeah, somebody was something was interesting. Even though he ran 6th, it's still And I mean, and that also could be an indication for me is if there's no action on it, maybe don't play. But he's getting a lot of weight. I mean, he's getting 10 pounds from the horse I picked on top. So it'll be interesting. And finally, I'm going to take the favorite, which is Nimble Nimbus. He's the standout in the field. He's been running in group races, but he's not been doing anything. And he dropped into a class 1. He did not much. So now he's in a class 2. He did get blocked in that race last time out and finished 5th. He is definitely going to be the top weight, but that is an apprentice, and you see a little -2 on there, so that means he's going to get 2 pounds off. And he's won this distance only once before. I see the benefit of the class drop, but he also could be still not running at the end, so to speak.
He might be running next for on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's the great thing. If we knew, then Thomas, no one would watch.
Well, then, yeah, I know. We knew we would be not on here.
Yes, I would still share. I would just tell everybody everything I didn't know. The Sunlight Power, we agree, it's top horse. It's the only one with a recent run that meets or beats the par time. And what's cool here is you can go to the Hong Kong Jockey Club. It's right here. I'll link, as we always do in the story, to the Hong Kong Jockey pages, this page here for the races. But if you click on here, you can go the whole form or this race only. So let's take a look at this race only real quickly. And one of the things I really like about, I can't read the Hong Kong Chinese, but I can read down here. It shows you the, can you see that, Tom, on the screen? Let me just make sure. Let me take this off so you can see it, because I can't go any lower. But down here, it shows you the standard winning time so basically the par speed or par time number. I like to use those when I'm looking at this. And when I looked at this, is the only horse really so far that's shown it can hit that time. Number 5, Karma, is my second choice in there. Ran faster by about a second in its last. And what's funny about that, Tom, is it finished, I think, second in that last race. The prior race it actually won, but it ran a slower time in the race it won and a faster time in the race it didn't win. So last race was better than a winning effort, if that makes any sense, but probably not to the owners. Turbulent Prince, my next choice, the 8 horse. Comment in the comment section says was blocked and then not ridden out, Thomas. So apparently the jockey didn't have anywhere to go and just said the hell with it. So take out the block, take out the hell with it, and the horse has a good chance to rally at the end. And then finally, Voyage Samurai, my final selection. This one, as it could be out on the front by himself. And I think we saw that in the race shape there. And if you get off to an easy lead, it could equal a wire to wire and maybe even an easy win if the pace is correct. Third race today, Tom, for you and I, as we're going to make our way through race number 10. I got to click the right button. It's the Angelonia handicap. The Angelonia handicap is going to be on the turf course, 1,200 meters. Our look here, this 1,200 meters. In this case, I really think because we're butting up closer to that first, in that case, right-hand turn, they don't race like, what do my friends call it? What do they call it? I forget what they call it, but they call it some kind of NASCAR racing because they turn right. Left with our horse racing instead of, anyway. It makes no sense if I can't explain it. But that first right-hand turn is going to come kind of quickly. So you feel like inside speed will have an edge, Tom?
It helps. Let's just say you don't want to get hung out too wide.
Especially heading into that turn. And based upon what we see here, well, Master Champion, if it's in on the rail, it won't be an issue. But these outside horses chasing Flying Ting Lok, they can get pushed wide and fan out, make that trip pretty long around the track. And, if you watch any horse racing and you see your horse is 3 wide through the turn, 4 wide through the turn, that horse better be a whole lot better than the rest of the horses to have any chance to win. So if you get stuck wide, you can probably start thinking about the next race. We'll do that in just a few minutes. We'll clean up this race, Tom, with your first choice.
I'm going to start with number 2, Master Champion. This is a first-time starter here. in Hong Kong. He's won a maiden race in Australia, but he also placed in 6 of his 7 races in Australia. And one was at the listed level, which may account for why his weight is pretty high in this race. He's had 2 barrier trials. He ran second in both of them. They asked very little out of him in the first trial. And the last trial, they actually put pressure on him, and he closed. Both those races were at 1,000 meters. But I think he's going to be a short price.
Mm-hmm.
And if he, outside draw, I don't think is going to be that concerning, because I think he'll get positioned early, and that's why you see him out there at 2 on your speed chart, because he's coming from the outside. So he's going to be a little wide, but he'll get in. Number 12, No at Heart. This is going to be next choice. He's raced 4 times. He appears to be making progress. Each race get a little better. Last time he was 5th. He raced twice at 1,000 meters, and they were okay, but they weren't great. Then they changed to 1,200 meters, needing a little, maybe a turn, wants a turn. His last effort, he was very wide, but still ran 5th. Late runner. Jockey's got to place him correctly. And he's got an inside draw, so that'll help. I think you'll get a price on this one for sure. Mm-hmm. Finally, I'm going to take number 6, Geneva. He's been running at the class 4 level and winning or placing, and they're now moving him up to class 3. And he ran a 1,400 meter race. And it was interesting because that's where he's won. So I'm really curious why they're putting him in a 1,200 meter race. And they must have seen something in the morning, something whenever, and the trainer or whatever. I think it's interesting, and that's why I had to put him in, because of that move.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we agree on one horse, so maybe some good odds in this one too. I'm going to start off with this one here, Lifeline Express. Last time out, there's that note again, just missed. But here's the thing: if he just reruns that last race, it won't be a miss this time. Number 3, Module Construction. How would you come up with that name for a horse? I have no idea. But at its best, could make easy work for these horses in here. Number 6, Geneva. Tom, you mentioned, why did they move this one to 1,200? Well, if you dig through the past performances, I think the reason that they're putting him in at this level is any of the last 3 races at 1,200, the times versus this field. Yeah, guess what? It gets the job done. And then I'm going to go with that one out on the front, Flying Ting Lok. I suppose with the jockey here with the -10, it means he's getting a 10-pound weight break, right?
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. The race times are borderline right on what it takes to win at this level anyway. So taking off those 10 pounds, you say what, 5 pounds equates to about what, 1 length or something like that?
Yeah, they say 5 pounds, 1 length.
Mm-hmm. So he's getting 10 pounds. That's 2 lengths. Each length is about what? 5 lengths equals 1 second. So it's about a half of a second advantage. Maybe that's enough to keep that speed all the way around the front and cut down the times to a point where it can actually hit that par number.
Well, and this is a lightweight, getting it at 114.
Yeah, that's pretty light, right?
For Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Definitely light.
And you also, that's 15 pounds lighter than the horse on top.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is. All right, race number 9, 2 races to go. Guess what, Tom? Both of these are the Cosmos Handicap. 14 confused me at first. I thought I typed something wrong. I'm like, wait, why did I do the same race twice? But I didn't. So the first Cosmos Handicap is 1,400 meters. So we'll go back to our race map here. You'll see again, starting right here, just like we started, coming around that turn. Tom's already said outside's better than inside. Got a little bit more time and space to get to that turn. We look at the map here. plenty of early speed. And when this one opens up, there will for sure be horses that get caught wide. You're going to definitely want a horse with some late speed in there, or the speed of the speed. Thomas, which angle did you take?
Oh, I went to forwardly placed. And start with number 10, Victory Sky. He was held up late in the race last time out. Jockey was looking for room. Finally got it. Could do no better than third. And that was his first attempt at this distance of 1,400 meters. He's shown promise in his races before at 1,200. He's been taken back, and he drew 13 in one race and finished fourth. So yeah, I think this horse coming forward, and I think they're going to place him with that draw. I think they're going to place him a little more strategic in this race. My next choice is going to be Juno Pride, number 5. And he won as the favorite last time out at this distance. He sat mid-pack and came out at the end. He's run 6 times in Hong Kong, and he's won or placed in all those races. So no reason for me to say he's going to regress in this race. I don't think so. I think he's your favorite too. Number 2, KOWLOON Angel is going to be my final choice. He pulled the jockey forward last time. I watched the race. Yeah, that's being an understatement. So the trip was not good. He faded and finished dead last. Two previous efforts, he's been closing, and he's finished second in those 2 races. So I don't know what was up last time, but he just didn't want to. He was either ready for the barn or just wasn't interested. I'm going to say he's going to come back, I think, to a better draw. I mean, he's had 7 or wider and many in his last races and last 3 races, and then now he's drawing the 3. So if you toss that previous race saying it was a fluke, I'm going to take it that approach, because he's been showing some form, and then he ran a real crapper.
Yeah, if you take out the 13 and the 14 on either end, those races all look pretty solid in there. I'm going to start off with number 5, one that you like, and you mentioned it could be the favorite. I have no idea, because we don't have any odds to work with, so I just picked the horse I thought would win. And that's how I actually handicap, Tom. I handicap. I put them in order. I don't think this one's going to finish first. This one's going to finish second. This one's going to finish third. This one's going to finish fourth. I put them in order of their chances to win. Is that how you handicap too?
Well, I pull out all the horses I think are going to be contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a little differently with Hong Kong because of and then I look at some of the numbers, like you're doing, the par number versus what they've been running or how they've been running. And then I go and look at that marvelous page that you use first, which shows the pace. And it has in each horse, if you go down, it has not this one, but
well, there's another one in here too. So if I go to here, I think I know which one you're talking about, because they have the speed pro too. Yeah,
that's the one I use.
Mm-hmm.
That has descriptions. So I take the ones I think are contenders, and I go and read these and see, going through them and see what looks like what the track man or track woman are looking at in the race and what they're seeing, to get some idea. So if I see 3 wide and 4 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide, or something like that, began awkwardly, it was wide, it was a mess, and it finished dead last. Well, that's really not good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that gives you some idea, and also you get some ideas. It's 1,600 meters. It ran. It had 7 draw. You get the basic information and compare it to. And also the other thing I thought was interesting, like on this one, is I just look at the weight difference. Today's racing weight versus what it's been running at.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a little curious about that body weight.
Oh, yes. If it's gaining a lot of weight or losing a lot of weight.
Well, they said if it eats healthy, to me, that, I don't know, that doesn't necessarily look healthy. There's a lot of weight difference.
He lost a lot of weight that one, 996. Yeah. That's
So,
an interesting angle. Yeah, I've had enough. I
yeah,
don't want to run no more.
you
So
gotta,
maybe sick, right? I mean, we all lose weight when we're sick, so maybe the horse is not feeling well.
so those are kind of some of the stuff that's the way I look at these races, because I try to get the contenders first, or what I think are going to be contenders, and then break those down.
Mm-hmm.
What I think, and then look at the times. If there's ones that are closing quicker than they normally have, I'd like to know why. If there's something in there, or they're make a middle move and maybe they're getting a little better, and they just need a race to get into race shape, or a field that it can beat.
Right. And here, all the times are here. The reason I go with this one here instead is because this is a YouTube, right? X, wherever you're watching, is visual, right? Whereas if you just have stuff like this, it's really hard to interpret without being able to read it. So that's why I put the other one in there. But all of that information, again, over at Hong Kong Jockey Club. So it's racing.hkjc.com. And then they have the races here. You see over here the Speed Pro. And then once you get to the Speed Pro, it also has the, up in here, it has the speed map. That's the one that I use for the show. But lots of information. It's all free. I will link to it in the on the story over at horseracingtoday.net in just a little bit. All right. Anyway, we got a little bit sidetracked there. I think not sidetracked. Some good information. I'll go with that. I'm going to go with Juno Pride. Really, as you pointed out, Tom, any of its last 5 races probably beats this group. Master of All is my next choice. I think you mentioned that one too. Is that where you started?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't mention that one. All right. Well, I am mentioning it. So has speed, plenty of speed in here. But this one has the times that fit. Victory Sky next up on my list. The 10 horse. I do think that in this situation, getting the distance today is helpful. And then Storming Dragon, Godzilla, will need to improve from its last race, but some of the prior starts right before that would be good enough to find the winner's enclosure here. Final race for you and me today will be race number 10. But before we get off to race number 10, if you haven't done so already, so that you don't miss any of our handicapping shows, whether that's Monday and Tuesday at Parks, Wednesday and Thursday during the championship meet down at Gulfstream Park. Foreign Fridays, Thomas, any sense of what next Foreign Friday will be about?
Well, I was looking at the Irish are starting, the flat season starts there. So I was hoping to get a race at the Curragh.
All right. So perhaps the Curragh for next Foreign Friday. And to catch all of that, right below on the screen, you see streaming all of our social sites. So while you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. While you're on X, hit the follow button or whatever that button is called. Share our content with all your degenerate horse racing fans. I'm sure they'll love our content, especially when we have $400 exactas, or he's got the 22-1 moniker because he loves the long shots. When those come home first, it always feels good. Tom, feel good if we also can get the winner in the second Cosmos handicap. Race number 10. Do you think it's just that they got so many entries to the first Cosmo, they split it in 2, or do they usually have 2 of these? You don't know?
No, I think the race got split.
I would imagine maybe they got a lot of entries. So two Cosmos it is. That's where Pele used to play. So I get it. It's a great race. 1,400 meters. Going to be, again, around here. We've mentioned before, you want to probably have some good tactical speed, not get too far wide into that turn. So inside posts are better than outside posts. And according to our speed map in this case, you see a bunch of them are packed up in the front. When I see this race shape, if I can draw it, it's kind of a triangle with the point of the triangle being in the back. I usually focus on the point of the triangle instead of the flat edge of the triangle. So I would be looking middle back. In this case, Thomas, do you agree, or are you going some other direction?
I'm going to take one that's been doing very well. That's number 6, Hong Lak Golf. His 2 out of 3. And he ran second. In that other career, he just missed.
I think I picked that one last time, too.
Yeah, that was a move up in class. Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm. He just missed by a neck last time. He's coming back against this field. He should like the distance, and I really didn't see anybody else that was in form and ready to run. Number 3, Beauty Crescent, the next choice. Doesn't know how to get to the winner's circle. That's an understatement. He's raced 27 times in Hong Kong. Okay. He's won 2 races, but not here. But he does know how to finish in the money. He's done that 13 times, either second or third. So he runs fine, but doesn't win. He's been running well enough lately again. He got a third last time out. As you can see, you go back 6, 6, 2, 3, 2. That kind of indicates he's coming back to form, but not to win.
Tom horse.
Yep. Finally, I'm going to take 11. Amazing Victory is my final choice. Been running at 1,600 meters or greater distances. And now they're going to turn him back to 1,400. Well, I went and looked at the record because I was curious, because this is a veteran horse. He's got 25 runs at 1,400 meters. He's won twice. He's run second 5 times. He's run third 5 times. He hasn't won in 2 years. That's why I really couldn't put him on top. Didn't show a lot. Showed little in his last 2 races, which were November, December, and then before that. Yeah, his last 2 races have been awful. I think the distance change will make a difference. And I'm going to say also that he's got I think he's got a good chance at the board, and that's where I'm putting him.
Big price at the back of the ticket were Hong Kong Lock or Hong Lock Golf.
Oh, you got to pick a golf horse, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go play golf when we're done here, Thomas. It's going to be in Chicago today, in the mid-70s?
Yeah.
It's going to feel like 140 after a couple of weeks ago when it was minus 70. So I'm all happy about that. It'll be fun. A tradition.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, it's a tradition to go play at Highland Woods to start the season. It's by IKEA out by past Schaumburg. If you're familiar with the Chicago area. Anyhow, I think this one just missed by a neck last time out. Well, I don't think that's what the past performances say. I think catching a few extra yards today will more than make up for that neck. Sky Trust, the one horse, my next selection. That one can win from anywhere on the track, Thomas. Can show they can win from the front. It can win from the middle. It can win from even the back. I like that versatility here.
Well, 12th last time out, I don't think he was winning position.
Well, that's not a good one, but certainly, when we take the 2 off the back, that's
we get 2, 2, and then 12.
Yes, I like that. And then Beauty Crescent, the horse that you mentioned in there, Thomas, all over the place, but always close at the end. It's going to be closing. I think that's a for sure, but it has shown one of those horses that can meet the par time. So you know it's in him. Let's see if he can bring it out today. And then finally, number 8, King Miles. This one's going in the right direction. 13 to 9 to 6. So you subtract another 3 or 2 or 4. It's going to be right there at the end. This one's going to be way back at the beginning. You might not even see it in the screen. And then he's going to run like hell at the end, Thomas. He had tough trips in the last 2, and that's one of the things that can happen, though, when you start way from the back and then got to run like hell at the end. You have to weave your way through traffic. So if you can get a clean trip at the end and use that run like hell legs, maybe you can finish first.
And the draw may help him.
Yeah, move him a little bit to the he's going to get a clear run.
If he'd been drawn inside, I would be really hesitant in playing him. Unless they're going to do a rail trip. But a lot of times, if it's a dead closer, that closing on the rail is not going to get you there.
That's when you get those tough trips because you get blocked and all that other kind of stuff. And other jockeys know you got horse too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen so many races lately here in the States, which is kind of unusual because usually I remember when we had on Chantel Sutherland and there was that big stink where she said they communicate on the track and if the horse is running out of steam, they'll get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of racing lately, a little bit different in the States. East India Clock Hurdles. Hey, Private Ross, giving you your props for the Cheltenham, Thomas. I've seen a lot of races lately, though, where jockeys are using tiring horses to their advantage by basically locking in a horse they know can beat it, blocking him in to a horse that's fading in front of him and not giving him any room to get up the rail or get outside, which is, I think, a little bit new racing strategy, perhaps here in the States, because you don't usually see a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't. That's very unusual.
But I've been noticing it more and more of late, which, yeah, I don't know where that's come from. Maybe it's come from a lot of these jockeys going overseas and running other races and bringing some of what they learned over there back. I'm not 100% sure, but I have been noticing it of late. Again, on Monday, Terry and I, Parks, Tuesday, might be off Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll keep you a speed to that on our social sites. Again, they're streaming down there below. Wednesday and Thursday, we'll do Gulfstream Park. Friday, Thomas and I, most likely, the Curragh, a great place to run. Deep track, fun, always great long shots coming across the board there. Any final wisdom from you, Tom, before we part and look forward to Saturday night, Sunday morning, Insomnia Racing in Sha Tin?
I think two of the races are going to see some shorter price favorites that we did, but I think in the other ones, it could be all over the place.
Which is good for odds. We can get some big tickets once again. All right, folks, thanks for joining us. As always, again, remember, free picks over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description below. So if you're playing any horses in the States, that's the place to go. And sometime between race time here over at horseracingtoday.net, we will link to the story, all of our picks and thoughts right here. While you're there, hit that HRT Gear button. As I mentioned, in the 70s today in Chicago. Going to want to get yourself some T-shirts. Get ready for that spring weather. Look fantastic in a see you in the winner circle. You won't get that anywhere else. Maybe I should make one for Foreign Fridays, Tom, that see you in the winner's enclosure and make it a square. What do you think?
That would work.
All right. All right, folks, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this weekend, until we get back together again, we certainly hope that your weekend, your days are filled with God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing that you do ends up in
the winner's enclosure,
which will be a square on the next iteration of the T-shirt. Until then, have a great weekend.